welcome to warrenthornton.com. As always, it is a fantastic day out there. And of course, we've got plenty for you. We've got a returning superstar, of course. But just to let you know, if you do want to see the full show, come across to warrenthornton.com, and boy, have we got something for you. After the first hour, of course, it's for subscribers only. Now, it is only the price of a coffee. You get literally the price of a coffee for a month. You get 6 2-hour, maybe sometimes longer news shows in the evening. You also get a subscriber show in the morning where you can talk about absolutely anything that is prevalent to you or you want to talk about. And we also have daily bites and also other TV appearances and radio appearances and internet appearances that we make also on that website. So for value for money, you can't really beat it. I am, as always, joined by the wonderful and erudite Housewife's Choice, Paul Brooker. Hello, Paul. How are we?
Hello, Warren, and hello, everybody. I'm very well, Warren. I'm rested now after my little break. Can you see my severe lack of tan? Because I only had some for the first couple of days of my holiday, but I'm rested. And do you know what? I'm going to say this now. Friday morning, waking up to hear Trump was dead was quite an interesting one. Obviously, it was just a joke. He wasn't really dead. I think the lefties got a bit weirded out.
They did. They did go into full-blown meltdown instead of actually checking that there was something to that, shall we say, which I found very, very crazy. And of course, it is one of those with the whole world going crazy at the moment. It is not the time for everybody to be panicking. There is tonight. We're going to be looking at a few things, but this is one of the first things we'll be looking at. Is the uprising really here? This is England, and of course, there are all sorts of strange and wonderful things happening, and all sorts of protests. And we'll be looking how the Indonesians do it, which was quite staggering, and I think you're in for a treat with that one. And I've got to say, I'm not saying that we should do what the Indonesians do, but my God, it was effective. And of course, they got what they wanted inside 24 hours. One of those. Paul Brooker, we're going to start with some of your stories. First thing we are going to do while you're getting all yours queued up is we're going to turn around and say, please do be aware. Do be aware when you're out there, because there are, shall we say, bad faith actors out there. And one set of bad faith actors was spotted. And thank you to the person who shall remain nameless who sent me the pictures. Now, these pictures, of course, are very, very simply of a team that apparently were at one of the protests in the UK to look after the BBC. Now, when you're looking after, if you're a principal private protection, or 3Ps as we call it, a PPP, your literal thing is to make sure that nobody is interfering with your principle that you are there to protect. That's how it works, okay? You are not there to do anything else. You're certainly not there to take photographs of everybody, okay, with your cameras and everything, with your very highly sophisticated cameras for people who are there just to protect BBC reporters, of course, and enjoying the sunshine with your glasses on. He looks like a decent chap. He doesn't look like Plod at all, does he? Of course, it wouldn't be that they're taking photographs to later on try and arrest you or try and subvert you, shall we say. And of course, you wouldn't be fraternising too close with the police, would you? As you can spot that thing in the policeman's hand there, of course, then you can spot the guys who all seem to turn up in black, in some sort of dark shirts or dark T-shirts or jackets, should we say. And of course, you wouldn't be caught handing over anything to a policeman now, would you? So, of course, it is one of those, Paul Brooker, where everybody does have to be careful. Examine the guy next to you. He might not be quite what he seems. Paul.
Yeah, Warren, this is something we hear a lot of, that police go undercover in protests in general. I mean, you would like to hope it's to stop any trouble from happening. But more often than not, Warren, trouble always seems to kick off. Where are the police when two groups of protesters are marched towards each other to kick it off? And let's not forget, the reporters are there waiting, slap bang exactly where the kicking off is going to start. So I hate to say it, the police are not innocent in all of this, are they? I mean,
No,
you've got
absolutely.
to sit here and go, something's not right, is it? Because surely you'd keep protesters away from each other, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the riots in Australia, of course, the police, we have literally a police officer who has told us that they were told to push these two groups together in the hope that there would be violence. And of course, there was. But it was, unlike in America when they tell you it is, mainly peaceful. It was mainly peaceful, but just in certain areas, they decided, Paul Brooker, that they were going to, should we say, get into this and start causing all sorts of problems by moving them together. Now, Australia wanted no immigration. Let's have a look. This is how peaceful. Now, it's not receiving a lot of coverage, but there were thousands upon thousands of these people out there protesting, wanting their country back, of course. And of course, everybody was sort of looking at it and going, is that correct? Should it be right? Well, in the UK, of course, we've had some good protests. Here's one. I thought this was very inventive, Paul Brooker.
Well, Warren, all I can say is, the best one I've seen is an old disused mattress had the red St George's cross painted on it, because everybody knows if you paint the St George's flag on something, the council will turn up and clear it, even though it's been there for months.
Yeah. And of course, the people are not upset about getting a little paint on their tyres.
Every mini roundabout by me has been painted. And you know what? I went to a junction today near me and there were Union Jacks everywhere. The one thing I will say, everybody out there who is putting up flags, please make sure you hang them round the right way, because there is a wrong way and a right way. One is for when you're at sea, one is for when you're on land.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about that, the people have come up with a wonderful idea for getting home safely from immigrants at night. Here we go.
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the Roomba beat. When I play them.
There we go. How to get home safely. Nobody's going to bother you if you're wearing one of those masks. The other thing I sort of wanted to show you as well, Paul, was the nonsense. Of course, we've got lots and lots of people who have turned around and gone, that these people are doing this and they're doing all sorts of this, that and the other. But it is not the case. And of course, what we do have is the police turning up for even anybody turning around and saying things like, I love...
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one.
And everybody's saying that is a joke. It wasn't a joke. They actually went to that guy's house and arrested him for posting I love bacon on a website. Isn't that quite crazy? We've got somebody already with their hand up. Who we got here? Sean Murphy.
Well, it looked very much like they couldn't wait to get in there and get a bacon sarnie, could they?
Yeah, one of those. Obviously, I love bacon. They're all popping around for a bacon sandwich. One of those. I think you're absolutely right. Also, while we're talking of that, there was an incident in a mall, and of course in the UK. Let's have a little look at this.
Fucking hell, I've got pepper sprayed. These officers here just randomly attacked an individual protesting. And look, this was a demonstration to cause maximum disturbance, and it has achieved that. But the police response of being violent is just here to antagonise us.
Now, there's two things to say about that. I'm going to play this with the sound off while we're talking, all the sound right down. You can see everybody wearing pretty much the same hood, slightly different balaclavas and everything else. This is paid agitators. There's no question whatsoever. What they've done is you grab one person there. Now, if you've ever been in a football scene, when you get steam like this and everybody starts to go towards it, the blood is up. There is no way you can contain yourself. You are not shoving and pushing the police. You're knocking them the hell out. It's all on, and there is fisticuffs all over the place. Here, you can see this is a paid mob. Nobody's doing anything whatsoever to help the poor guy on the deck. There's a bit of pushing and shoving and everything else. This is so staged, it's unreal, Paul.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Anyone who wears a mask is not there to protest. Full stop. You cannot convince me any other way. They are there to cause trouble because they know they can't have their faces lit up. Because when they throw that first punch, they do that first bad thing, they're done for. And wearing a mask,
all day long they're plod. All day long they're police or paid.
Well, I don't know if they're police under the balaclavas, but paid for antagonists, quite definitely. Or they're just there to cause trouble. That's their sick kick they get.
Yeah, they're not there. For me, I've seen this time and time again because you never really took part in any. I would imagine you didn't take part in too many football disturbances, Paul Brooker.
No, I did not. Let me
tell you how it goes. When you get into that situation, the blood is coursing through your veins. Suddenly you see one of your guys attacked. I have to say, and I'm not being awful to any Millwall supporters out there, if there's 20 Millwall there, it's on. And the police are in the fisticuffs of their lives. No question whatsoever. And nobody is backing down. And that guy is not being arrested. We are taking him home with us. Sean Murphy and Louis bad old days. Well, Sean Murphy.
That guy that was trying to, calm things down, wearing a black balaclava, and that he must have been saying to him, "Oh, take it easy, lads. Remember, they're paying us."
Yeah, exactly that. It's certainly along the lines of steam. Once your blood is up there and you're in that crowd situation, I don't think our lives.
I've been in many riots, believe me, in my day. Not as obviously when I was in the army, but I was in riots every day. Oh, I know exactly what goes on and who the agitators are and who gets the crowd going. And you can
just stop you
spot
for
them a mile off.
2 seconds, Sean. Our live on Twitter doesn't seem to be working. Carry on, Sean.
You can spot them a mile off. You can see who is and who isn't an agitator and what their motives are, and it doesn't take very long, especially when you're doing it day in and day out.
Yeah, it is a very, very, very strange thing, isn't it? We'll get Louis Bastos and then we'll have Nilis. Louis?
Good morning to you and good evening to everybody.
Good
what
evening.
I don't understand is why the police and the people can wear masks and cover their whole faces and other people can't.
Yeah.
The police should be the police or government people, they should not cover their faces.
Well, it should be a thing. It should be a thing, shouldn't it? If you're going to a protest, and it's peaceful, you shouldn't wear a mask. Just arrest anybody wearing a mask. That stops the police or outside agitators doing it then, because you wouldn't put it past a load of lefties to turn up and put masks on and start throwing punches just to get you into trouble. because they don't want you doing what you're doing. So I think you're absolutely right. Good call.
I think a lot of this stuff is staged just for the media.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. It is becoming to the point of unbelievably stupid. And that there, and the live appears now to be working. So welcome to everybody who's on Twitter. Paul Brooker, wonderful to have you back. Paul sorted that out, by the way. If you have just joined us, we've been talking about the riots and everything that have gone on, shall we say, the disturbance at the shopping mall, which clearly is either police or paid agitators that are doing this. Just ban masks. If you're not up to no good, then you won't mind not wearing a mask. It's as simple as that. And if you are police and you are outside paid agitators, you're going to be recognised. Nillis.
Yeah, they look pretty big and bully. I expect they're what would be the equivalent of a flying squad. Those people in masks.
Yes.
And I couldn't see. Was it person on the ground? Was he in a mask as well? Or
he was, yeah. And what they do is they just then suddenly they will arrest him, and the next thing you know, he'll be let go. But they'll grab anybody else. So the whole idea is to inflame the situation and make it far worse. Here's the other thing as well. Just before we go to Eric, here's the other thing that you have to remember as well. When it's on like that, and you are in a crowd like that, there's no way you can hold back. Once it starts, it's on, and once your mind says go, that you don't get there and then start pushing and shoving and everything else. You're in, and you're in all the way. Eric Jones. Eric. Oh, maybe Eric didn't want to talk. Oh, have we got Eric? No, Lee Williams.
Yeah, quick one. Why is it all Liverpool football next weekend? What's the reason for that? It seems that everybody's playing Liverpool, so it'll be Liverpool. London teams playing each other in London. Is there any confidence to that?
Yeah, one of those, isn't it? There'll certainly be plenty of people out on the streets, that's for sure. And of course, as I say, the London crews, they might be out and about, but of course. There shouldn't be. That'll be the normal sort of rough and tumble sort of turf war that people are having over that. But they might well use that, as you say, to do some sort of nasty goings on. But I would imagine there's going to be some false flag events there because they want something big. They want something big so that they can sort everything out. Paul, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm not a football fan. I stopped watching football when the money got out of hand. But, football fans, the police can keep them all apart. They can stop the trouble if they want. They know who the agitators are. They know the ones with masks are normally the ones that are the biggest problem. Any true football fan does not want to get a lifetime ban from their club.
No, last thing you want.
Exactly. And now we've got facial recognition being rolled out everywhere. The times of agitation are coming to an end because there's going to be enough cameras out there that, the moment you take your mask off or put it on will be recorded somewhere.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I thought Eric wanted to speak at one point, but obviously not. There is, how can I put it? When we sort of look at everything that is going on, Paul, and I have to say, it's pretty terrifying what these people are, should we say, trying to do to the UK and everything else. I've got to say that as far as I'm concerned, we have a real problem in this country because everybody's talking about, is it time for an uprising? I think it's got to the point where there is so much being lined up for us that I think it's almost to the point where that's going to happen. I thought it wouldn't happen. I didn't think Britain would kick off, but I think we are a powder keg waiting to go up.
I don't think we're the only ones though, Warren, because you look at the rest of Europe and the world, Trump's pulled it off. He's pulled it off in America, and I don't care what anyone says. He's done it. He's reversing the sick trend of them destroying the countries and all this 2030 agenda. He's reversing it. You know,
Yes.
Washington, D.C. being cleaned up, because there is a point, and, you know, when the times got so bad, no matter what you do, you can't fix it. You've got to do a reset. He's deployed the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Clean it up, get them all gone, reset the city, then the police can step in and maintain order. Sometimes it
Yeah.
gets that bad. And let's
Yes.
not even forget about the immigration. So when you now flash forward to what the UK is going through, we're doing the same thing. Everybody is now speaking up. Religion is now Christianity is making a resurgence. We talked about this off camera. All of a sudden, everybody is waking up, and we've stopped being the pacifist nation that our rulers want us to be.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's about time that we did that as well. Sean Murphy.
Well, I think if it kicks off in multiple cities, not just London, but Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, you know, not, and even some of the less big cities, but, you know, large towns across the country, the police will not be able to cope, because what they do is they know there's something happening in London. So what they do is they bus all the police in from surrounding areas.
Yeah.
But if you say you're bussing them in from Aylesbury, and something happens in Aylesbury, something happens in Oxford, something happens in Wycombe, something happens in Slough.
Well, the villains know this. The villains know this, and of course they know full well that while the police are away, they can get stuck in. There's a ton of people waiting to get stuck in here. Lee Williams. Then we're going to go to
Only a
Louis
quick one. I
Bastos.
don't know if anybody knows. There was a Church of England set fire. It might have been London, Malden or something today.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Louis Bastos.
I just don't understand why there's so many police guarding those hotels that have got immigrants. So the police we need on the streets to look after the people who are getting raped and robbed and killed should be in the streets, not guarding hotels. That's for our military. The military can do something like that because we got nothing to do basically apart from blowing their mouths off. They're going to Ukraine, we're going to Ukraine. The military should go, the civil service should go and make sure that the hotels are kept where they are or people not go in. But the police, we need the police in the street, looking after the women, the children, the old people, and the robberies and the stabbings and all this. We need the police in the city, not looking after hotels.
Yeah. Louis's got a point there, Paul, isn't he? I mean, at the end of the day, the police are not policing anymore. They give in to the LGBTQ, they give in to the BLM. And let's face it, when we're talking about that, you remember the two gentlemen who didn't have any masks on whatsoever, and they pulled that white guy out of the crowd they said was being racist, was carried out by a black man who obviously was a hero for about 24 hours until we found out they both worked for the same security firm and it was staged. That's why I'm saying no mask at protest. Paul Brooker, the police, though, Louis Bastos has a point, doesn't he? The police are there to look after the citizens of the UK, regardless of what colour they are.
Oh, 100%. We are seeing the massive exposure of a corrupt system now. And the internet, thank you, internet, because I can tell you now, if we didn't have the internet, we'd all be watching the BBC and listening to their lies and their dribble.
Yeah, we would, absolutely. Great call. By the way, just going to let you know that when it comes to doing it right, when it comes to really doing it right, then of course we have to say that the police get it very, very wrong. This was a guy going to a gaming festival. He was going Resident Evil gentleman, Paul Brooker, dressed up as one of the Resident Evil Umbrella Corporation. Of course, he had a toy gun with him. The police dived on him and arrested him. Basically, this is Antifa with a weapon. This guy, poor guy, was wrestled to the ground simply because he was going to one of these Comic-Con fairs dressed as a Resident Evil character.
Now, I know a little bit about this Comic Con stuff. I'm a bit of a nerd at heart. He did have the orange tip, which is you go back years, toy guns all had the orange tip if they
They
looked a
did.
little bit real to show they were a toy. But
Yes.
also, common sense prevails here. If you've got a toy gun, maybe not show it till you're in Comic Con.
Yes.
And, then people understand it because people make swords at these things. And I mean, these are realistic looking swords.
Yes.
But likewise, maybe the police should have had a little bit more decorum rather than just wrestling him to the ground and tying him up or cuffing him.
One of those. Get on the ground and let's have a look. Nillis.
Did somebody say plasticine action?
Yeah, might well have done. Good call. Here's something that we ought to take. Do we take a lesson from this? I'm not going to say that we should, but let's put it this way. Indonesia kicked off. Now, it kicked off big style because of what happened, shall we say, with the government, who decided to award themselves 10 times the national minimum wage for housing, for their own housing costs. And of course, the corruption in Indonesia is off the charts. So the Indonesians, of course, being Indonesian, decided they weren't having any of that. Normally, the Asian areas are quite peaceful until you really upset them. And then, of course, all hell breaks loose. Now, so what did they do? Well, they went on the rampage, burning, smashing buildings, government buildings going up in smoke. And they actually got into the ministers, the government ministers' houses, and relieved them of their goods. Now, one government minister had an Iron Man suit in his house, which somebody dragged off and got rid of that. And do remember that the Indonesians are quite poor and all these politicians are rich as Croesus. And, of course, the big screen TVs that these ministers had in their houses, of course, they were fair game for absolutely anybody. And, of course, if this were to happen in England, of course, maybe people would just behave a bit better. Our politicians would behave a little better. Even the piano wasn't spared, and that was taken away, shall we say, by the people who wanted to make a profit out of it. Now, let's have a little look at this, because we've got some videos of this for you as well. Because, of course, they've turned around and said, well, we should start shooting people. The Indonesian government have turned around and said that, first of all, they use fireworks to try and disperse everybody. Of course, that was the first thing that they tried to do, and that didn't work massively well, of course. And then, of course, they tried, shall we say, doing something slightly different. The Indonesian government houses were burnt. And then, of course, Paul, we had the Indonesian government really going for it, saying that they should shoot protesters.
Kalau sampai masuk ke asrama, tembak dulu.
So giving the police authority to use lethal force. And, of course, they did shoot one person, and that kicked it off even worse. And, of course, we had, shall we say, the Indonesian Minister of Finance. Let's have a little look at this. He was the guy who made the call for that, shall we say, to be done. And, of course, how they responded was by breaking into his house and relieving him of absolutely everything he owned. And, of course, we have to say that sort of thing, people turn around and go, oh, you can't do it and this, that and the other, you shouldn't do this, it's a disgrace and all the rest of it. But you know what? Let's have a look at this. Within 24 hours, the president of the country rescinded the money, cancelled the money that was going to be paid out to these housing people. So within 24 hours, these riots achieved exactly what they were supposed to do. And of course, let's not forget that Indonesia has had God knows how many governments since 2008. Literally, the governments get turned over. The government of Indonesia, even though they've cancelled this, will not survive it, nor will any of the MPs or the members of Parliament, Paul.
No, and I think they got off locally with just ransacking of their houses. What we see also is that these government puppets, they're put there by financial institutions as well. Normally their own treasuries and everything. And I've got a story later on tonight about that. Liz Truss is spilling the beans. But they're puppets. Politicians are puppets for corporations and everything else. And you can see that by the luxuries that they're sitting on. I mean, who the hell's got enough money to buy an Iron Man suit in this day and age?
Yeah, it is quite incredible, isn't it? And you sort of say that, Paul, and I'm going to give you something that literally tips it on the other side of the scale. And we're always talking about this gentleman, but he deserves the praise. This is Ibrahim Traore, who is the president of Burkina Faso. Now, he has just taken the third of his country's gold mines back from the Australians and the French. The third gold mine he has actually liberated, and he has said that the profits from that gold mine will go back to his people of Burkina Faso. This is the third gold mine that he has liberated from corporations, one of them from Australia, two of them from France, Paul Brooker. This guy gets more impressive by the day, doesn't he?
He's fantastic. And one thing, and I'm just going to diversify just a little bit. I love gold. I love everything to do with gold. I looked into buying gold mine shares. Don't do it. It is the worst thing you can do because gold mines are totally down to the politicians in charge. And this shows it because him and his government have taken it off the corrupt corporations and put them back into the people's hands. So his economy's going to boom soon with these under his thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. That. Now, I've got lots more stories to come. But of course, we've got Paul Brooker back with us, and he will have some stuff that he wants to go through. Paul Brooker.
Well, I'm a bit rusty, but here's my first story. We got to talk about Labour politicians and getting caught doing some naughty things.
This Labour politician has been charged over allegations he put a secret camera in Parliament toilets. Police reportedly searched Colin Smith's home, mobile phone and computer. His Scottish Parliament pass has now been deactivated. Colin Smith has been suspended from the Labour Party after being charged in connection with the possession of indecent images. The Scottish Parliament Chief Executive said that they recognise the nature of the criminal charges and the ongoing investigation may be upsetting for colleagues and cause distress.
Wow. I'm shocked, Paul, a paedophile in Parliament. Who would have thought it?
Well, I don't know if it's a paedophile, but maybe he likes a bit of the old upskirt or something weird like that in the ladies, or worse, in the gents.
Was it the ladies' toilets or was it Starmer's private toilet that he was? I
don't know.
We better ask Nillis before I get in trouble.
Well, yeah, I heard it was in the gents. It was only in the gents he put the cameras.
Wow.
But he's been very heavily promoted within the Labour Party in Scotland by probably you know who.
Well, apparently, according to people in the chat, it was in the gents. Just goes to show you. So I'm sorry, but as you turned around and said there about we don't know if it was in the ladies and we don't know if it's a paedophile or whatever. If it's in the gents and he's doing that sort of thing, I think a laptop check is in order. Sean Murphy.
Bit of a woolly watcher.
Or maybe worse, he was trying to get incriminating evidence on other politicians. Maybe this is how he's climbed the ranks. Yeah. Because if you're going to go ring a loved one, you're going to do it in private, aren't you? Why not in the gents' toilets?
And maybe if you're going to do a line of coke, you'll probably do it in the toilet. Either that, or he was fed up of standing at the opposite, or should we say next to MPs in the urinal and doing this. Paul Brooker.
Right, on to my next story. Right, and someone's come up with a genius idea, and I think this needs to be implemented.
Here because of their skin colour. We're here today because we're not here because of their skin colour. We're not here because of race. We're not here because of what they look like. We're here because this country has a serious issue at the moment, and we have to pay for these people. And we're fed up of paying for these people. These people that have come here and they get everything for free. They get healthcare for free, dental care for free, free phones, phone contracts, contact lenses, glasses, absolutely everything they get for free, and we've had enough of it. We're a fed up nation, we're a fed up people, and again, there's people over there shouting racist, far right. There's no far right, there's no hooligans here, there's no racism here, it's nothing to do with skin colour. I'll actually say, let's call a referendum tomorrow, and anyone who votes for the refugees or asylum seekers to stay here, anyone on the left should have their tax raised to 70% minimum and should free up a space in their house. If they want them here, they can pay for them and make the space for them. And anyone on the right doesn't pay anything and doesn't make any space for them.
I think it's a great idea if you want them. I mean, Gary Lineker come out with that nonsense. Shows how bad Gary Lineker is. The guy couldn't stand him, so he didn't stay for more than 2 weeks. But it goes to show what an absolute con that is. Let's not forget, when we're talking about immigration, everybody on Martha's Vineyard in America went, oh, no, you know, what Trump's doing is terrible, and what DeSantis is doing is terrible, and this, that, and the other. And then what DeSantis did was he went, fair enough, so he got... As soon as they landed in Florida, he hired a coach. He put all these immigrants on the coach, and he sent them all to Martha's Vineyard. And I tell you what, inside that they came out, they fed all these people, but my God, they shifted them on within inside 2 days. You know, so DeSantis just showed the hypocrisy. Don't mind, yeah, we've got to have them here, but I don't want them in my backyard. Thank you very much.
Bearing in mind as well, Warren, most of them pass through what's called a green country, which is a safe country to stop in. No less than 5 green countries normally before they get to the UK, which is a green country. What is wrong with those other 5 countries? And then we don't even talk about, you know, Muslims wanting to go to England, which is not a Muslim country. And there's at least 5 other safe green Muslim countries they could stop in, but they want to come here. I mean, you can just see the lunacy of it all. You just can.
Yeah, exactly that. And when we talk about Muslim countries, one of the nicest Muslim countries I've ever been to is Iran. The rest of them, let's say they're not that tolerant. Paul Brooker.
And I'm just going to jump in with a crazy video just to lighten the mood a little bit because I was like, wow. Where do you even start on this?
What on earth? Can somebody tell me how that happened?
There's a low loader, car loader. Obviously the car rolled off the top. Well, both cars did. No one locked them off.
Wow. I would imagine the driver's going to be looking for another job in the morning. While we're on that subject, Paul, I don't know whether you noticed, but there's a lot of chatter on the internet about whether or not the lady who was the captain, the female army captain who was flying the helicopter that didn't change course and flew into a plane, killing 70 occupants. Well, they're saying people are saying, online that this woman and this, that, and the other. That the report is out now. It's yet to be confirmed whether that report is out or whether they've leaked it early. But there is no doubt whatsoever that she disobeyed an order 4 times to change course and direction. Now, it doesn't matter. Let me just state this very, very simply. Everybody's talking about, you're only having a go at her because she's a diversity hire. No, she was in the forces. She disobeyed a direct order. That's a dereliction of duty, and 70 people died. I don't care what colour you are. I don't care if you're black, white, sky blue, pink with yellow dots, and I don't care if you've got a dick or a vagina. At the end of the day, if you disobey an order in the military, you deserve everything you get, and she should be court-martialed for disobeying a direct order and the death of 70 people for a dereliction of duty. Back to what you were saying, Paul.
Yeah, very much so, Warren. And I'm going to throw in another quirky story. And this one is real. A Volvo has been stuck on its own tiny island of rocks since 2012. Nobody knows why it was left there, but it's been stranded for over a decade. It's even listed as Volvo Island on Google Maps. This is 150% real. I Google mapped this earlier. Everyone watching, go on Google Maps, search for Volvo Island. You will find it, and the pictures are there. This is real.
I mean, it's as a publicity stunt, Paul Brooker. I mean, this is genius. I mean, why didn't Volvo think of this, or some other car manufacturer? Get a little tiny island where it's not going to be removed. Stick it on there, and very soon, I mean, it'll become a local legend. Then it'll become like a country legend, and then it'll become worldwide. I mean, Volvo Island now is recognised by many people as being. I would like to think this is a wonderful marketing gimmick by Volvo. It probably isn't. It's probably some guy who's driven out there at low tide or something, got stuck on a bank. Yeah, got stuck on a bank. And of course that's happened. But you would like to think that was an advertising gimmick. But I have to say, the truth is probably more like a drunken prank. Nillis.
Yeah, whereabouts is that Volvo Island? Because could he have driven over when it was iced over and driven it there?
No, low tide, you can drive there. I think people have just like, there's no incentive to go get it. It doesn't go underwater, so there's no pollution issue. It's just there.
Yes.
So it's, which country is it?
You're going to get me at it now, Nillis. I'm going to have to Google it.
One of those, Nillis, where I am very surprised that no homeless refugee has moved into it.
Well, it's on a flooded strip mine near Ottawa, Illinois, United States.
There you go. So the USA doing all sorts of wonderful things there. Isn't it? That's absolutely crazy. I love the idea of it though. Paul Brooker.
Right, my next one is, don't forget the 7th of September, everybody. On the 7th, September the 7th, 2025, a total lunar eclipse of 85% of the world.
A lunar eclipse on September the 7th. I'll have to remember that because, of course, we get where we are in the we get these when the planets were shifting their alignment and they were coming quite close. We actually got to see in Mars and Venus because, of course, we got the crossover. Quite incredible to see. We're never ever going to see that again in our lifetimes. Sean Murphy, then Lee Williams.
Well, I very much doubt if you'll see it in the UK because they'll be spraying and spraying and spraying to blank out the sun. So
Absolutely.
all you'll see is cloud.
And rusting solar panels. Lee Williams.
I was told by somebody, I mean, if it happens on the 7th, it's going to be the Tesla system on the mobile phones where it's just a test, apparently, on the 7th of all days.
I wouldn't know about that because, you know, with the government security alerts, I just turn mine off. I disabled any government alert. 100%. And I would say to everybody, do exactly the same. You know, if you are getting an emergency alert, just literally go into your settings. If you go into emergency, you'll see alerts. Go into there, disable it. And well done, Jenny Murphy, saying she blocked it as well. Nillis. You got your mic? He had his mic on, then it went off again. Nillis, did you have something to say on this?
No, I didn't have my hand up, but I always quite enjoy emergency alert.
Yes, always nice to know when the government are trying to get you to do something very stupid. Paul Brooker.
Right, my next one, and I was going to say about Liz Truss exposing who really runs things. Well, do you know what? I'm starting to get a lot of respect for her because she is telling how it is.
Okay.
Who is the establishment? Who are the elected officials? Are there unelected officials? In what positions? And how are these decisions made?
We sometimes call them the blob.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a coordinated effort where people to get together in a room like Spectre and sort of plot to take over the world. It's not like that. But what it is it's a groupthink that becomes very, very dominant, and it becomes dominant in institutions that don't get challenged. So the British Treasury is a good example of that. There is a Treasury view. You know, they believe in high taxes, high levels of migration. You know, they believe in net zero, and they will impose that view on government policy regardless of who's been elected. And their views are very similar to the views held by the World Economic Forum. And they're very similar to the views held by the IMF. And you'll see people move from one of these organisations to the other. So Mark Carney is a classic example of somebody that was governor of the Bank of England, associated very closely with the World Economic Forum, now is the Prime Minister of Canada. Christine Lagarde, head of the ECB, now being talked about taking over the World Economic Forum. So there's this group of people who believe, and they believe that their view is normal, and anybody outside of that Overton window is an extremist, and therefore dangerous, and need to be suppressed or managed. And it's the tyranny of the technocracy. That's what it is. And they are very, very powerful.
I've seen that label from.
Yep. So I've got two views on this, Paul. I'm going to first of all say that Liz Truss, as far as I'm concerned, when she was the defence minister, she got people, 35 guys, to go out to Ukraine, and they got killed because of her saying you should go out there and you should do this, that and the other. Secondly, she's got a bee in her bonnet because, of course, these people destroyed her career as Prime Minister and had her thrown out of office. That being said, everything that she has said there is completely factually correct. Bang on the money. Paul.
So here's the question we have to ask ourselves. We are not actually electing in politicians to do the will of the people. No matter who we elect in, they work for the Bank of England, they work for the Treasury. They do not work for us. They are doing the will of the financial institution and the WEF. This is a massive revelation. So surely the Treasury is a treasonous corporation that is not working in the best interests of the people. So it needs to be dissolved.
Of course it's not going to work in the best interests of people, mate. They're the money people. They're the people who you know, they turn around and say, oh, this is, the Daily Telegraph is read by, the Financial Times is read by people who actually run the country. The Daily Telegraph is read by the people who do all sorts of nasty stuff in the country. The Daily Mail is read by people who think they should run the country. And, of course, no star readers, they don't care who runs the country as long as she's got big breasts.
But likewise, Warren, this is coming from a former Prime Minister. I don't care whoever is out there saying this is conspiracy theory. She's got nothing left to lose. She lost it as Prime Minister. And even when she was Prime Minister, she wanted to make changes and the Treasury said no. Yes. So you've got to take what she says seriously. And I would love to interview her. And Liz, if you're watching, I want to interview you because I would love to find out the real nitty gritty of being Prime Minister.
And I'd like you to come on as well for the simple fact, and you know, we're perfectly fair here, but I would like you to explain who asked you to push forward that rhetoric to send young men who didn't know what they were doing out to Ukraine. Paul Brooker.
Right, now on to my next one. I've got a theme of the UK tonight.
Your lawyers, under your guidance, have said in terms that the rights of asylum seekers are more important than the rights of local people in Epping Forest. Would you at least acknowledge that that is what they will hear? And it's up to you. Ministers can say we agree with that or we don't agree with it. You can't simply say, let's balance things. Do you agree with what your lawyers said or don't you?
Yes, of course we do. But
your lawyers, under your guidance, have said in terms that the right...
Well, that's quite damning, isn't it, Warren?
Yes. Was that Miss Reeves or Miss Phillipson?
Phillipson.
Yes, Bridget Phillipson. Let's not forget as well that she's the person who thinks that trans and also, shall we say, she's well in with odd sexual practices, and she thinks that trans and basically doing all sorts of dances in front of your kids in schools is perfectly okay, Paul Brooker.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, really. But what I'm more worried about is this is the official government stance that asylum seekers have more rights than a natural-born UK citizen. If that is not treason, I don't know what is. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say treason over and over again because that is exactly what is happening in the UK. Our government have turned on the people.
You know what? You're absolutely right there, because as far as I'm concerned, when you talk about treasonous people, when you take, shall we say, when you give, it's meant to be a fair justice system for all. When you have a two-tier system that locks up one person for saying one thing and then doesn't lock up another for saying another, when you have, shall we say, people receiving totally different sentences for the same crime because the colour of their skin, you are no longer a fair and functioning society. You are broken, you are useless, you are no good to the people, you are unfair, you are not democratic, we are not free, and they should either resign or they should be thrown out of office.
Right, on to my next story. Pete Hegseth has been a busy boy. He's just done a recent interview.
Last month, the Department of Defense was made aware of an Obama-Biden-era legacy program called Digital Escorts. For nearly a decade, Microsoft has used Chinese coders, remotely supervised by U.S. contractors, to support sensitive DoD cloud systems. The program was designed to comply with contracting rules, but it exposed the department to unacceptable risk. I mean, if you're thinking America first and common sense, this doesn't pass either of those tests. So I initiated an immediate review of this vulnerability, and I want to report our initial findings. So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it. These investigations will help us determine the impact of this digital escort workaround. Did they put anything in the code that we didn't know about? We're going to find out. Additionally, all Department of Defense software vendors will identify and terminate any Chinese involvement in DoD systems. It blows my mind that I'm even saying these things. It's such common sense that we ever allowed it to happen. That's why we're attacking it so hard. We expect vendors doing business with the Department of Defense to put U.S. national security ahead of profit maximization.
Yeah, I would agree with, if you think somebody is, shall we say, an enemy, you certainly don't have them overseeing your security systems. That is absolute stupidity. But once again, it's let's get the Chinese out of here. They're our enemy. Now, that might well be the case in the matter of defence. You don't know. But very, very simply, to have any other country doing that is quite bizarre. It's a bit like, how can I put it, having Palantir oversee your security when you know that the head of Palantir has been to Epstein Island with the former Israeli Prime Minister. That sort of thing. Is that okay then, Pete Hegseth? Oh.
Well, Warren, it's almost like sending all our NHS medical records to India for processing.
Yes, absolutely that. Sean Murphy wants a word on this. Sean.
It's like getting George Soros to be the person who nominates and distributes the nominations and votes on the Nobel Peace Prize, isn't it?
Exactly that. Let's put it this way. Very, very, very simple. You don't have other countries taking care of any of your sensitive information whatsoever. The old adage applies there, Paul. It's the old yardstick. There's never been a better one. If you let a fox in the hen house, he'll have chicken for dinner every time. Paul Brooker.
Yeah, 100%. And my last one, it's just a funny little
Oh,
meme
Mark
video.
Onzer. Sorry. Mark Onzer wants to jump in, Mark.
Yeah, just a quick one. Just to step in on Chinese nationals. They were spying at Rolls-Royce at Derby recently, and they infiltrated nuclear Rolls-Royce at Derby. That's definite when I was working there. So yeah, they're everywhere.
Paul Brooker. Thank you very much for that. Yep.
And my last little one is just a funny little anecdote. And for those of you that don't know, that is from the movie Patriot. Where
Yes, it is.
Was fighting for his country, what's right, you name it. And I think it's quite fitting that you can get arrested in England for memes.
Yes, you can. And let's be absolutely straight here. Very, very simply, if Jesus were alive today, this would be the headline in your newspaper. Local carpenter spreads disinformation deemed harmful by religious experts. That is how bad our country is at the moment, and that's not having for anybody who's getting out of their pram on that. By the way, don't do so. It's not a go at Jesus. It's a go at how our countries are at the moment, and they are absolutely shocking. Nillis, very quickly.
Is it true that somebody got arrested for saying "I love bacon"?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that some?
Yes. Yeah, we covered it earlier in the show.
What would happen if Lady Gaga did that red carpet walk wearing that meat costume this time round?
One of those.
She'd get a death penalty, wouldn't she?
I just think, honestly, all the local dogs in the area would just haul her down and start munching away. I'm very quickly going to get. You literally got 30 seconds on this before we end our first hour on the show. What do you make of this curious Trump message?
Well, Warren, anybody out there who's been paying attention for the last 5 years, Trump has been saying a lot of things that people have been calling him crazy for, and actually they've all come true. Most of them, I should say. And, well, the Ring of Fire, that Trump is known for his symbology, and I suggest people go out there and search Trump symbology, because what he tries to tell us, because if he told us it outright, he'd be called a lunatic. So he's shown us in different ways. That's my own understanding of all of this.
Yeah. Okay. Mark Onzer?
Yeah, just quickly to add to that with Paul, I wonder if it's worth time to mention John McAfee and David Steele, and possibly some kill switches and information coming out and new Q stuff. Let's have a little. What do you think, Paul?
Well, it's an interesting one, because John McAfee, God rest his soul, he gave loads of laptops to the US Justice Department for free. What they didn't know is they were all loaded with spyware. And one of his last videos he did before he died, mysteriously might I add, is that the information he collated was going to be on a dead man switch. That was all going to be released at some point. And whether you believe that or not, who knows? I would look forward to seeing this information as and when it is released. But nothing's been released so far as I'm aware.
Okay. That is the end of the first hour. And of course, all those people who are watching us on X, watching us on any platform but warrenthornton.com, it's time for you to leave us. If you like what we do here, there is a much longer show. This show goes on quite a bit longer. And of course, we are over at warrenthornton.com. Come and see us over there, of course. And you can also take part in the subscriber shows. You can also be part of the family, which has been around for ages now and is growing. So come and join us, where free speech is actually allowed you can actually disagree without getting cancelled. Isn't that amazing? Thank you very much for watching, and we'll play you out with this.